Hello everyone. In this lesson we're going to set up our first Laravel project. This should be a lot of fun. At this point we have everything we need on our computer, so let's go ahead and get started. First of all, to stay organized, why don't we create a new folder? So for example, I'm going to create a new folder on my desktop. You can just create it anywhere on your computer that's easy to locate, but instead of this PHP experiments, let's create a brand new folder. And the name doesn't matter, but I'm going to name it Laravel projects, right? And then anytime you want to create a new Laravel project, we can just create it in this overall folder. So at this point, I want you to navigate a command line so that it's pointing towards this new directory that you just created. So you technically could open this folder with VS Code, or if you want to use the built-in Mac terminal or the built-in Windows terminal, what you can do, well, in Windows, you can just right-click on the folder and there should be an option to open in terminal. But another option, regardless of whether you're on Windows or Mac, is to just open up your system default terminal and type CD and then a space, and then you can just drag a folder onto the command line and it will fill in the path for you. Anyways, the idea is that once your command line is pointing towards your new folder, I want you to run this command with me. So we know that we can use Composer. And now in a previous lesson, we used a Composer command called require. We're not going to use that here. So Composer has different commands. Instead of the require command, I want us to use a command called create-project. So Composer, create project, and then we say what type of boilerplate project we want to start. So we start with the name of the author or the name of the organization, and then slash the name of the actual project. So Laravel is the author, slash Laravel is the project, space, and then finally we just think up a new name for the folder that will contain this project. So just for a quick test, why don't we say our first app? Okay, if you need to pause the video to type in this entire command, that's okay, but overall it's Composer, create project, Laravel slash Laravel, and then some sort of made up name for your folder. Let's go ahead and press enter. This shouldn't take too long. Even on a slow internet connection, I can't imagine it would take more than a couple of minutes at the very most. Essentially, Composer is going out onto the internet and it's downloading all of the dependencies, all of the starter code for a brand new empty canvas, fresh Laravel project. So you can see mine finished just while I was talking there. So now here's what you can do. If you look inside that new folder, you will see the folder name that we chose, right? We said our first app. And if you open up that folder, it now has all of the starter files for a brand new Laravel project. At this point, I want to show you how we can start testing or using this Laravel web application and actually, go visit it in the web browser. So notice in this new folder that we created, there's this file called Artisan. Now remember in an earlier lesson when we set things up so that we can call PHP from the command line? Well, we can use PHP from the command line to execute or use this Artisan file, and this contains all sorts of useful Laravel commands. Trust me, we're going to use this many times throughout the course and many times throughout your Laravel career. So, how do we use this? Well, first of all, we probably want our command line pointing towards this overall new project folder, right? We named it our first app. So why don't we go ahead and open up this overall folder with VS Code. So just to be clear, inside our Laravel projects, this folder called Our First App, I just want you to open this up in VS Code. Cool. So you'll know that you opened up the correct folder if you see folders named app, bootstrap, config, database, so on and so forth. And to be more specific, here we see that there's a file called Artisan. So this means that VS Code is pointing towards our new Laravel project. Now watch how easy it is to get a preview development server up and running. We just open up the command line in VS Code, so Control-J or Command-J, and then type this in with me. So we know that our command line can use PHP, so PHP, and then we're pointing towards the Artisan file, and then we're going to use the command called serve. So altogether it's PHP artisan serve. Go ahead and press enter. Okay, and now the server's up and running, so you can go visit this in your web browser. So just open up a new tab, and in the address bar, visit localhost:8000. you should see something like this. If you do, congratulations, you just created your first Laravel project. So this is sort of the Laravel welcome or success screen, right? Before we customize Laravel, before we actually start building with it, this is what your homepage looks like right out of the box. Now, a really quick note, if you're on Windows, yes, this address of localhost :8000 will work. However, it's much quicker. Now, we won't notice the page load speed times right now because this page is so simple. However, once your site actually has a bit of complexity to it, it's going to be a lot faster for you to instead visit this URL. So I'll go ahead and press enter. So that's 127.0.0.1:8000. Many times this is the exact same thing as localhost :8000, but I've found that in Windows 11, for some reason, Windows has a hard time looking up this value from localhost, and it can actually take anywhere from half a second to a full second, to perform a page reload or refresh. In other words, if you're on Windows, I encourage you to use this URL to view your local Laravel projects. Cool. Now, practice makes perfect. So right now, I want to show you how to stop this local development server and then create a brand new Laravel project and get it up and running as well. So in other words, we're not going to do anything new. I just want to show you how you can create more Laravel projects if you wanted to. So back in VS Code, let's press Control-C in the command line to stop the local preview server from running, right? So we stopped it. So now if you tried to visit this address, it's not going to work. That's to be expected. But let's go ahead and create another project. So for example, in our Laravel projects folder, just for practice, let's create another brand new empty Laravel project. So back in the overall command line, here where I'm pointing towards Laravel projects, again, just for practice, it would be composer, create-project, Laravel/Laravel, and then make up a folder name. So I'll just name it another test app. Go ahead and press enter. Whoops, you can see I misspelled Laravel, the first Laravel before the /Laravel. So again, let me fix that typo really quick. Cool, Laravel/Laravel. Press enter, and this should take maybe 30 seconds. It should be very quick because a lot of those packages are now in the system cache, so it should be super quick. There we see it's already finished. So then I would just open up this brand new folder in the Laravel projects. Here we see our brand new app, another test app. I would open that up with VS Code. Cool, so we've got all the Laravel files. Don't worry, in future lessons we'll learn what all of these different files and folders are used for, but right now, we just know that we can use the artisan file to spin up a dev server. So in the command line, again, it would just be php artisan serve. As soon as you press enter and that's up and running, then you can visit that URL in your browser. Awesome. And then whenever you're done working, you want to stop the local development server, you would just press Control-C in the command line, right? And then you can't access that URL any longer. If you want to start it up again, php artisan serve. Beautiful. So where do we go from here? Well, in this video, we didn't actually learn anything about Laravel, but we learned how to use Composer to create a brand new, fresh, empty Laravel canvas, right? This means in our next lesson, we can truly begin. We can start to learn how to work with Laravel and how to move forward. To put it simply, this is where the course truly begins. I'm so excited to dive into Laravel with you. I think it's going to be a ton of fun to build a real-world application together, bit by bit. Let's keep our momentum rolling, and I will see you in the next lesson.